Hello and welcome to another episode of Medical Money, the podcast where we help health professionals like you learn finance and money. My name is Kirk Roberts. I'm an ER nurse, financial educator, and also a licensed financial representative.
And I'm Ben Chandia, firefighter, advanced CMT, and also a financial professional.
Guys, today we're talking about building your financial house. Remember how our last one we actually talked about building the financial house. You actually saw a picture of it, and we'll actually post that again as well, where you can actually see your financial house. But right now, let's talk about this. Most people want to jump right into investing. That's the first thing they want to do is investing.
Yep.
But the problem is trying to put on the roof first before you even build the foundation. Well, your house has to have layers. It has to have that support. And the first layer, which is income protection or protecting your income, because if the money storms come in and it's not built out properly, it's going to collapse, guys. So I want to just break down really quickly again the financial house. So remember, the base or the foundation is income protection. The next level, budget and looking at major expenses. Also, we want to look at the emergency fund, then debt elimination, investing, and then lastly, the estate planning. Now, if you skip any of the foundation, just throw up the roof, there's no support. And like I said before, the first financial storm comes in, boom, Hurricane Johnson, whatever it might be.
No, and that's where it's going to be really important, guys. I mean, this is almost biblical. Like having a strong foundation. I mean, we've heard that for thousands of years now, right? And this is where things like Kirk said, that income protection, having disability insurance, if work provides a group life insurance, right? Different things like that are really there to protect you if the worst should happen.
Yep. So guys, let's just define insurance really quick. Insurance is a way to protect yourself financially. That's it. You pay a little bit of a monthly payment, which is called a premium. And then if something happens, the insurance company goes, here's the money to cover that cost. So it's like a safety net for your money. And this is something that everyone should understand. Now, I'm going to make a statement. It's going to be a little bit in your face, but this is really, really important, which is the sole purpose of insurance is protection. It's never about investment. Let me say it again, guys. The sole purpose of insurance is protection and never about investments.
Yep.
All right?
Yeah, and we're going to go through it and explain why we feel so strongly about that, on why it's so important to keep investments and insurance completely separate. Okay, and we'll go through in detail, show you guys some examples, so stay tuned for future episodes.
All right, Ben, give us some examples of insurances.
Yeah, so we'll just kind of go through them, right? We have life insurance. All right, what does it do? Protects your life, okay? Not necessarily your life. We can't really protect, having a full-on STEMI, but it protects your income, okay? That's what it's for. You, heaven forbid, you pass away, your family's able to continue to pay off the house potentially, covers bills, expenses, all these kind of things, right? That's what life insurance is for, okay? Then you have health insurance. Health insurance is covering any major medical expenses, right? We're all familiar with health insurance, right? That we deal with it every day. But yeah, it helps pay for surgeries, doctor visits, things like that. Okay. Then you have disability insurance. This is where if you become sick at work or sick from work or sick in general, you can't be at work for a while. This helps replace that income while you're recovering.
And that's typically found actually when you do your work benefits. That's actually a benefit. Your work says, hey, do you want disability insurance? So that's actually something you can get during your benefits.
Yeah, 100%. The other is your car insurance, right? Now, we all have to have this by law, and this helps cover any major wrecks, right? Or repairs, deductibles, things like that, okay? And we'll get into more detail on that later on. But that's car insurance. We all know what car insurance is, okay? You have homeowners insurance. This covers your home, or renter's insurance, right? If you're renting, you should definitely have renter's insurance. If something happens, maybe a water line breaks, right? You need to have some kind of coverage to help pay for those damages, right? Whether that's getting the water out, recovery, loss of property, that helps with those type of things, okay? Travel's insurance or traveler's insurance helps cover any major travel, right? If I'm like me and Kirk, we're going to Nepal here in a couple months, super excited for that, on a humanitarian trip, right? Travel insurance helps protect all of those bills, those flights, things like that, Okay. Then you have pet insurance. If you're an animal lover like myself, I love our dogs. Okay, we got some big dogs. Those vet visits can get pretty expensive. Okay, that helps cover those needs, right? Then you have business insurance. If you own a business or a private practice, you should definitely have business insurance. Okay, this is going to cover if anything major happens, right? Maybe you're a lawsuit or something happens. Okay, that's what insurance is for. Again, to protect, not to invest, to protect you. And then finally, let's go over some long-term care insurance. This is if, say, you run out of disability insurance and you need a little bit longer or a lot longer time to recover, get back on your feet, whatever the case is. Long-term insurance helps pay for those expenses.
Yeah, like so for like people that need like home health care or maybe some long-term care facilities like a SNF, the skilled nursing facility, assisted living. Those are what we're talking about. And actually, you can actually get those type of insurances once again through your work benefits as well. So in kind of summation of this, if it costs money and can be lost or damaged or whatever can cause financial hardship, you can insure it. I mean, I've heard about doctors that actually, like surgeons that will actually insure their hands. If something were to happen to their hands, they can't do surgery anymore, well, they're protected, right? All right, so let's get back to the foundation of your house. So we're going to start with term life insurance. Now, this protects your loved ones if the worst case scenario happens. So it's basic and it's just pure insurance. You die, you get a tax-free check. That's it.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like tax-free.
Yeah.
No one wants to pay taxes.
Nope.
And guys, that's the thing, is that this isn't about you. I'm sorry to say, as great as you all are, this isn't about you. Okay, this is about your family, your loved ones, those that you're going to potentially leave behind. What kind of state are you going to leave them in? Okay, those are kind of things you want to be thinking about.
Then let me do this, guys. I want to show you an illustration, and I kind of like to put this in perspective. So let's suppose I have 3 things I need to insure. Here's my 3 things, guys. All right. So Ben, you have to insure these 3 things. You have a house, a tree, and a car. Could you tell me the order that you would like to insure these items?
The house, the car, and I don't know why I would insure a tree, but the tree after that.
Right, so everyone's going to say it once again. House, car, then tree. What? Okay, anyways. All right, now let's suppose that I tell you that this tree drops $3,000 a month. Without fail, boom, 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 dropping it down. Now, how would you insure it the same?
No, I'm changing it up. Can I change my answer?
You can change your answer.
I'll change my answer.
So it's going to be what?
Let's do tree first,
okay,
then the house, and then the car.
Okay, guys. So, and why is that? You are the tree. You're the one that's actually providing the income. And so if you're not having that income come down, let's say you have no income, can you pay for the house? Can you pay for the car? No, you can't. So really, that's actually what it is. So let's just say you make $80,000 a year. And you're like, okay, but if that income's not coming in, what do I do? The rule of thumb of this with insurance is this. And most financial experts say you should have 10 to 12 times your annual income is what you should have be insured for. So if you make 80,000, that's 800K or up to $1 million. So that gives your family enough to replace the income while they grieve and they adjust to you being gone.
And you know what? It's really not that expensive either. I mean, if anything, this is probably the cheapest part of your whole financial house because, I mean, say a 30-year-old non-smoker, okay, non-smoker, okay, 30-year-old non-smoker, you can get a $1 million policy for probably around $30 to $40 a month.
Yeah.
It's really not that bad.
Very, very simple. And guys, it's not about leaving your family rich. We're not trying to be like, oh, I'm going to make my family wealthy. No, it's about keeping them safe. It's like, are they able to stay in the same house? Are they able to stay in the same school? Are they able to go without panic? Because if you think about it, they're going to feel the grief of losing you. And now all of a sudden, do you think that the banks are going to be like, oh, dear God, I'm so sorry. You passed away. You don't have to pay your house payment. You don't have to pay your car payment. The bills are still there, guys. They don't go away just because someone passed away. They're still there. And then what do the families do? Oh my gosh, what do I do? And we don't know when this is going to happen. We in healthcare, first responders all the time, you're probably finding people that have passed away from all ages. So no one knows. Sickness, accidents, incidences, There's no psychic way of knowing whether or not someone's going to die or not. Let me give you guys a small example. Just happened a little while back in where we live here, and I was on shift this day. Two individuals, a 52-year-old and a 54-year-old, were actually going to work, and they were actually following each other. And we found out, in the car. So the 52-year-old has like 2 kids, the 54-year-old has like 4 kids. Anyways, they were on the road going to work, and got a little bit of road rage. And it happens here. A little road rage, going back and forth each other, trying to pass each other off and whatever, getting mad at each other. Well, finally, they crash into the barrier because one got really mad. One gets out and shoots the other one 16 times. That guy's now dead. Now, they brought the other guy in who did the shooting into the emergency room, and that guy was in shock. Because here he is on his way to work. The other guy's going away to work. Do you think any of them planned like, okay, yeah, I want to die today? No, there's no way they could have planned this. So, but think about it. Now 2 families' lives are destroyed. One's dead, and then the other one's now going to prison, right?
I mean, there's always GoFundMe, right? That's the thing, guys, is that's usually what happens, unfortunately.
Yeah,
I mean,
tamales over here, guys.
A car wash, like, help us raise money. And I get it, right? We get it. No one plans for this, okay? That's why it's so important to be applying what we're going over, okay? Please look around, protect your families, protect your loved ones, because you never know, all right? Now, as far as insurance goes, our next podcast, we're actually going to go into more depth on term life insurance. There's also other types out there, okay? Typically known as cash value. We're also going to go over into great detail as to why we don't like these products, okay? And we'll have some examples, things like that. There's a lot of things out there that you guys need to know, because the reality isn't the prettiest thing out there. Okay, so stay tuned for those episodes coming up. Okay.
All right. So let's talk about. So now we've looked at life insurance and the term life insurance. Let's take now a look at another type of insurance.
Yeah, disability insurance. Okay. Now the disability insurance isn't the risk of dying. Okay, this is being disabled. Right. Maybe you're a firefighter like myself, and you go on a structure fire and a building collapses on you. Okay, now you're paralyzed from the waist down. What do? You can't go back to work. So how do you make money? Okay, this is why we have disability insurance. Okay, to help not just with the recovery of things, that's where kind of health insurance comes in as well, but to help replace that income as you go through that process.
Well, and guys, I actually had a little bit of time when I had to take a little bit of disability. I had a 600-pound patient fall on me once, and it hurt my back for I was out almost for 6.5 weeks because of my back. I had to get injections and all that. So, I mean, and you think about our environment we're in, we're around people who are violent. We're around people that have, they're in trauma situations, crisis situations. So disability insurance replaces a percentage of your income if you get sick or injured and you can't work. And it normally pays between 50 to 75% of your salary.
Yeah.
That's it.
And that's the thing too, is that you're more likely to become disabled than die before age 65. Yep. I mean, COVID was a great example of that.
Big time, all time, guys. So, and also, once again, disability insurance is one of those things you can look at when you're actually doing your benefits with your hospital or whichever where you work in the healthcare field. They offer disability insurance as well, guys. And so check the fine print, see if there's an elimination period. Is it short term? Is it long term? And then obviously, and does it cover your own occupation, long-term disability coverage as well? Tell us about that.
Yeah, so make sure that everything is, that you're checking off all the boxes, okay? You're doing your due diligence to make sure that you're not going to get screwed over in the end, okay? You want to make sure that, so for an example, there's a lot of cases that we've seen where you become disabled, and because of maybe the situation or how they view things or whatever, you don't get a payout. Okay, or they don't meet up their end of the bargain because of that fine print. Okay, we won't go into much detail on that today, but just be on the lookout for those kind of things.
Yeah, guys, this is called own occupation long-term disability coverage, and this basically means, say you're a nurse and you physically can't do nursing anymore, but even if you're okay, guys, I can't do nursing anymore, but I'm going to go work at McDonald's, I'm going to flip some burgers, you could still be getting paid, by insurance because of your own occupation. So it's basically, it's a cash flow that protects you if you can't do it, because if you don't have any income, guess what, guys? No savings, no investments, none of that. All right, so let's talk about that. let's talk about the flimsy side of a lot of people going rely on like, oh, group. I've got insurance. I got group insurance.
I got insurance through work.
Yeah, we hear it all the time.
Yeah, no, it's a great starting point, and honestly, you should definitely have it. Okay, I tell a lot of my clients you should have it if it's cheap or free. Okay, and this is going to be typically offered as part of your benefit package. Okay, again, look at the fine print, right? However, you should not solely rely on this. Okay, this should be something added to what you have outside of work. Okay.
Well, and you were saying like also it's group insurance at your work. So what if you change jobs, or what if you get laid off, or you just or you lose the coverage? You also have there's some requirements behind it. You have to be actively working to actually get the benefit. And it can be taken away anytime, guys. And you don't think it can. I was the first person in my hospital to get COVID. And during COVID, my hospital says, yeah, we're done with group insurance. Canceled. I had no say at it whatsoever. And all of a sudden now they got rid of my group insurance.
What?
Right? I mean, gee.
You know, and that's the same with group disability. Okay? Group disability insurance can be easily taken away from your other peers. It's going to usually cover your base salary. Okay, so nothing extra on top of that. And if your employer pays those premiums, the benefits are typically taxable.
So you have to actually then pay the taxes if you get that benefit, right? So like he's really talking about, guys, use the group insurance as a bonus protection, but not only your only plan. So it's like having like a basic smoke detector, right? You need a fireproof safe also, and you need an evacuation plan.
Yeah. And you know, Kurt, I mean, we had some experience with this not too long ago. There was actually a firefighter in the state that we live in a couple of years ago. He was on the job, okay, got injured on the job. I think it was a back injury, something like that. Goes on sick leave, and then goes into the doctor, right? Goes, do they have evaluations? They have to do surgery. He goes in the OR table. Something happens in the OR table. I'm not sure if they nicked an artery or what happened, okay? Ends up passing away on the table. Okay? Passes away. Remember, he's on sick leave. Okay, he's on active duty. He's on sick leave. His wife goes to file an insurance claim with his work policy. Okay, the one he had through work gets denied. Denied. That's the only coverage they had. Gets denied because he was on sick leave, not active duty. Yeah. Okay, so guys, this is why it's so important. Okay, don't have it as an extra, have it as a bonus, but please don't rely solely on this. Okay, because you never know. You honestly never know what's going to happen.
Guys, we got to get things right in order, right? Do everything right. So before we start investing in all the things, I know you guys are all like, we're like investing. But before we do it, guys, let's make sure we get our foundation set up first, right? Let's get your income protection. Build your foundation first.
And you know, because I mean, if you're trying to build a castle, I mean, I'd like to live in a castle. That's sure. Cool. But if you're building a castle on sand, it's going to get washed away, right? It's not going to last. I mean, yeah, you guys get the point. It's just going to fall apart.
Guys, here's the action plan. Get a life insurance policy that's term. That means a term period. And we're actually, our next podcast goes all over term insurance. And it needs to be about 10 to 12 times your income. Next thing, we talked about that own occupational long-term disability insurance. You can look this up with your benefits as well as review your group benefits and the supplements. Do they fall short or not?
Yep. And please don't forget to subscribe, like this, share it with your coworkers because everybody needs this knowledge.
Guys, you may know people who are great at saving lives, but maybe not so great at their finances, right? So yeah, make sure you kind of subscribe, get to us. And if you have any questions, please email us at medicalmoneycash@gmail.com. Once again, that's medicalmoneycash@gmail.com.
Okay. And guys, always remember, ask yourselves, does this make sense? Or does this make dollars?
Guys, in our next 3 episodes that we have on our podcast, we're going to drill down really well into income protection. We're going to talk about term life insurance. And like Ben was talking about before, we're going to talk about cash value life insurance policy. And we're going to actually go over all these things because there's some trending things out right now in cash value life insurance policies that we're going to talk to you about. And so be tuned in for this. And we're so glad to have you here. Thanks for being here. And we'll see you next time. Thanks so much, guys.
I'm looking for a man in finance. Trust fund. 6'5", blue eyes. Finance. Trust fund. 6'5". I'm looking for a man in finance. Trust fund.